think about all this costing, right? A building is a work of art and form of sculpture. Of course, you have to engage architect to come up with a design that the customer prefer, right? So this admin work by the architect, you have to pay them also. So a lot of cost, right? So you can see sculpture like Taj Mahal. Okay, is it fair to ask anyone to cost it? Are it measured greater than the dollar you estimate? What is value, right? This is, for example, Taj Mahal is a historical building, right? And your company decided to tender this one for the maintenance, repair. How much it cost? It's not that easy to estimate, right? So depend on what type of building, right? Okay, like this Antonio Gaudi, I don't have more explain. Okay, as you know, you do the sculpture is value, right? Because the sculpture you carve out, you ask people to design, to implement. It's not a cheap expenses. It's very high expense. Okay, like the building of Buckminster Fuller Dimension. Okay, Maxon House. Okay, this one I don't talk about. Okay, all the building. So now determinant of cost include geometric, yes. Requirement of internal environment, yes. Quality of a construction, the loading, okay, static or dynamic. That means the floor that you build, the structure that you build. What is the loading? Okay, okay. Location of site and site location also cost. If you build a building far away from your office or far away from your supplier of raw material, then cost definitely will be higher. Right? Time. Okay. Important. The time factor is play a very, very important part for the determinant of cost. Material and technology. Okay. Depend on what type of technology you want to use. And material also you can decide. The material you want to use is recycled material or brand new material. The price is very different. Okay. Take note. Element of cost analysis purpose is defined as a purpose to fulfill the function, specific function, or function irrespective of the design, specification, and construction. All right. So how do you do a cost analysis? Of course, if a company is brand new one, the people you recruit must be experienced enough. They have done a lot of cost analysis for construction, example, right? So if an old company, their company have been doing all this type of job, of course, they know how to do the cost analysis and arrive at a figure that they are happy about. They are sure that they're going to make profit. Okay? So this one is from government format, DCIS and US one. We don't talk about it. Okay. Elemental analysis or approximate quantity to be predict the tender price of a new building, right? So you can see that design a cost for the tender is not easy because last time I worked for one company just 5 years ago. Okay, government have this tender document in the website. So normally what the boss do, they will ask the contract manager to print out everything, right? So the tender, they can request a copy from the government agency. From the agency, the tender document sent to us, we sit down and discuss whether this project is worthwhile or not. How much is the cost? What are the requirements they say? Okay, does our price can make a profit? So the tender document already state, okay, this project will be 5 million or 4 million or 2 million. So we have to sit down and evaluate the whole tender document, okay, for preparing and submit to government for tender process. For this type of job, in government job, normally take about 3 months. We have to prepare. And before submission, we have to go down to meet the government official with many so-called contractors sit around and they will explain to us the tender, what is the job requirement, what is the price of this whole project, etc. They will explain to us. Okay, after we estimate, we go down and hear what they say, come back, we readjust again. Finally, we submit the tender. Right? So, to do a tender job for big project like more than 1 million, it take about 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 months. Depend on the quantity surveying. If construction, you talk about quantity surveying. That means that guy will go down to the site, actual site, to assess the area. Okay, Singapore is very small. The area of construction. And what is this extra cost, extra so-called people you need for this project. Because you do a project in a site that is very quiet, no people staying, very far away. Okay, for example, like Singapore, we have construction in Jurong Island, no problem. Sound-wise, no problem. Okay, in Tuas, no problem. But if you construct a building, okay, in a building that we are now Singaporeans are staying, okay, HDB flood, near beside, there's a lot of noise, complaint. So you have to consider the sound management, the noise management, what type of people you need these people to be around, and how to monitor all these costs, right? So a lot of things you have to anticipate and do it, okay, and calculate it, okay. Not only cost of material, labor, no, but other small thing. The government never tell you one. Government say, okay, you tender this job is this price, but you have to take into consideration the detail of the cost of that hidden cost that the government or the contractor don't tell you. Okay, you must have a lot of experience, then you can assess that, right? Elemental cost control, use of elemental cost plan, controlling project cost by monitoring the element that as they are designed and take remedial action. Okay, so that means to say, once you tender the job, you get the job, you start the job, someone, the QS, quantity surveying, the financial manager, the project manager have to look at the cost when you start implementing, right? So make sure that within the time spent, within the cost per time, cost money, right? I mean, within the cost, then you can continue. Otherwise, you have to put a stop and redo the whole thing again to make sure that you meet the project objective in terms of profitability. Okay. Design to cost. Do we design to cost or cost design? Cost the design. Of course, when you cannot design to cost because you are a subcontractor, you are the contractor, you cannot design with what you expected. You just write down the design, the criteria. Then the contractor will take the tender document, will come out with the cost of the design of the client requirement. Okay. To what level of detail can we carry out on our estimation? Of course, once you have the document and from your experience on that particular site, you may know how to do the detailed estimation so that you can averse the risk involved that affect the client and yourself. Okay. All right. So when you talk about budget, commercial based on income, right? So the tender price that you have, you can already talk about estimation of cost already. So from your estimation, you already say that, okay, this is the cost of construction. How about other things? Like for example, here he said, public sector based on estimate. So the government already give you the estimate, but sometimes they never talk about regulation because certain drawing you submit to the government cost money. Certain drawing you ask the architect or the designer to draw the drawing in using what they call the BIM or AutoCAD, right? All this cost money. Some drawing is hundred of pieces, going to cost about maybe 30,000, 40,000, you never know, right? So all these things you have to work into your budget to see that the whole perspective of the project can be profitable, right? So here you say that non-standard costing, all these things, right? Today we don't. If you were to do the job in Singapore, you have to follow the BCA directive. Okay. Contractor office, okay, board of director estimating, buying, account and production planning also. Okay. So this is where your whole contract management is all about. Okay, your contract manager will manage it, right? Okay, take note of that. So contractor to tender or not? How does a contractor choose whether or not to tender? Of course, you know, right? If you have the experience, if your boss have the experience, he will know. Okay, you look at this price, this tender, is it worthwhile to tender? Okay, like my friend, last time I worked for this guy, okay, in UB there. This is a electrical and mechanical project work. Okay, how he know? You can see the price, how much. Then he look at the tender document, how much, how many type of work they're going to do. Okay, then from the work, the also owner asked to do, then you have to consider about the parts. Okay, spare part or whatever part you buy, how much it cost, and if you are a contractor, many years of experience, right? You know who is a supplier supplying reasonably cheap parts rather than you call the expensive one. So you have to know. Then the parts that you buy must be meet the requirements. Sometimes the government state that, oh, this part you buy must last 3 years, 5 years, 2 years, the lifespan of the parts that you buy. So when your purchaser buy all these things, the purchaser must know, right? What is the lifespan of each equipment that you buy to install at the workplace or at the client place, at the so-called house or block, right? So all these things, your contractor, the boss of the contracting, after discussion with the QS, project manager, designer, whether you want to go ahead to tender or not. Then another thing is, you tender, you get the job, you do the job, but the money paid by the owner, how long? Say now I tender the job, okay, I get everything, I set up, I run the project. Okay. As I run the project, because this project caused by progress payment, so the audit of the client, okay, the auditor of the client will come down to the site, check. They estimate, okay, that is 10% completion of the whole 100%. So he will report to the top management, say, okay, the project here now, today I check is about 10%. Right? So you estimate yourself, your own one, your own company, hey, I do construction, all these things. Now it's only 12%. How come you say 10%? That means to say the auditor will pay you 10%. He won't pay you 12% from your estimation. So you have to argue with the auditor, check with the auditor what I think. Then you settle at the, say, 11%, for example. So for that 1 month period, you lost 1% of your contract price. That means to say, you deliver, you buy the raw material, you pay the manpower, salary, everything. Cost you, the whole project, cost you 12%. You only get 11%. That means to say you lost 1%. So you have to relook at the whole project structure, the way of reporting to the client, to the auditor. So as a contractor, you must really know all these things. Otherwise, when you do the job, the project cannot get on time and at the cost overrun. Then it's a big issue for your company. If your company is a very small company, you need money for next month payment. If you have excess money, let's say you have bank few $1 million, then okay, you can take the money from your company account, you pay them first, later I claim back from them, right? But if you have very tight money, then you don't have money, then you end up getting from the client give you lesser, then you have to wait, go to the bank to arrange the, what they call, credit facility. And when you have a credit facility, what happens? They'll charge interest rate. Every month, every year, they will charge 3%, 4%, 5% interest rate, depend on the prevailing value of the interest, say in that country or other country. So you can imagine that because of this problem, so when you tender the job, when you talk about project cost management, you must understand the whole process of the project work. Beside working and the element that you want to do, right? You must know, okay? Okay, stop for a while. You take your attendance, please show your face. Okay, please show your face. Kavya, Rasan, Jose, Ivan, Ivatan, Ivan. Okay, Jose Prabhu, Muhammad Amin. Who is this guy? Ashak Stain Durai. Can you show your face now? Ravi Akilan. Karanagatan. Joseph. Oh, today got 15 students. Who is new here? Anybody new? Asan? Durai. Where are you? Your face. Okay. We'll continue with the lesson. All right. Thank you. So you can see that contractor to tender or not is depend on your company experience. So now you are working, let's say now after this course, you go and apply for a project supervisor or what. So your boss will ask your advice whether to tender or not. Okay, if you are a project manager, your boss will talk to you and should we tender or not. So a lot of things to think about before you say before you say that you can tender. Okay, you have to estimate the price. It's not easy, okay, when it comes to this project work, right? Or everybody want to tender the price. Of course, the customer, okay, the client want to be at the lowest price. Like today in construction industry, government impose a lot of safety and health restriction. They say this and that. They want to cost money, But when you tender the job, do you put in the cost of a safety and health element inside the project? I doubt we have. Right? Most company just don't bother. Most company think that safety is nothing. Okay, but actually is a big sum of money, right? So that's why today market, okay, safety officer, all this, they are quite in good demand. This especially this year, right? But I cannot get it. My job, I'm also a safety officer. I cannot get. Yesterday I was going through a verbal interview, telephone interview. Okay, after interview, very satisfied. my interviewer asked me, can I know your age? I say 65. Oh, that one. Like that we have to consider you again. You see? So old is useless in Singapore. Right? Contractor decision, approximate and duration cost. Personnel, what type of people, project, what type of skill they have. Okay? Whether you use the equipment for building the building or whatever, the equipment that you have, that you want, Singapore have or don't have. For example, let's say you want to build building in India. Do you have this equipment that can cater for the building of this building, right? Then the next item you have to talk about financing and cash flow. That's how I said, right? So your financing, you have to arrange your bank or whatever, give you the credit facility in case you're running out of cash flow, your cash to pay the supplier, to pay your worker, engineer, etc. Okay, characteristic of the project. Is it the project very tough in terms of the design of it, in terms of fabrication, the design? Is it very tough? Is it many problems encounter? Is it the people that you employ? Can they do this type of project design or project characteristic that require a lot of hands-on job, right? And location, of course, Singapore, no problem, location. And what is your likely competitor? Okay, construction company, they have many in Singapore. They are very competitive, right? You have to view the market, understand the market, then decide whether you want to tender or not. Other project on market, you can see, right? What are the projects available in market? Today is more on housing, public housing, not private. Private like building condominium, now is getting lesser compared to a couple of years ago. In today and tomorrow or next year will be all on government project, infrastructure development, okay, public housing, these two things only. Condominium is very few, right? Okay. So cost, financial component of labor, plant, material, overhead, and profit applied to an item, right? So you must know what are the cost component for a project. Okay? You don't know, you better don't involve. Because later you estimate wrongly, okay, your boss will kill you, right? So the component is very important for your financial profitability in your company, right? So by approaching bank to borrow money because you want to do the project, let's say you get the project, you give the project pricing to the bank. Okay, the bank must also know what is your labor cost, what is your plant equipment cost, material, overhead, etc., etc. Some bank may require all these things, but some bank no need because they have the experience already. Right? Take note. Okay, labor costs. All items of expenditure associated with employing labor. Plant, all mechanical and electrical tools and equipment used in the production. For example, like this one. Material, all material component used in the production. For example, this production is a building, a 20-story building, example. Okay. So overhead, okay. Overhead cost, element of expenditure of a global rather than a product-related nature. This expenditure itself will comprise of labor, material, okay, plant, and will relate to support items like headcount, office work, all this. So the overhead cost, whether you have project or not, don't have project, you still maintain the administrative department. For example, account side, marketing side, sales people, okay, your warehouse, upkeeping, etc. Right. So all these are overhead costs that is already there. Fixed cost. They call it fixed cost another way. Okay. Profit. The amount added usually as a percentage to all of those to represent the return of the capital investment. All right. So the profit, whatever you expend, you add on another 10% of what you expend is called the profit. Okay. That profit will be gross profit or net profit. Gross profit will be ever minus the overhead. But once you minus the overhead, that will be the net profit. Okay. Contractor process, method of statement. Okay. Must have. Then your project master Gantt chart, right? Estimation and all these things. And your whole Gantt chart tell you what are the whole activity for the whole building, how many years. Okay. Every now and then the project planner have to update the program so that you know the latest program for this piece of project. Okay. And site visit also, right? So you have to cater for site visit, consultant visit, and also quote for material plant. Okay. So you can see contractor process, there are so many. Compile, estimate, labor, plant, material, labor, only subcontractor, specialist contractor, provision sum, okay, the fixed cost, and director fee. Director add overhead and profit. Okay. Finally, you do all these things already submit together. You give to the director. Director will decide what is the head count that you need to run the organization. That means the overhead and the profit. What sort of profit the company want? Okay, it's not easy. Okay, so breakdown bill the same, right? Subcontractor, everything. All repeat the same thing. Based upon calculation, calculated by estimator. That means a QS guy. Okay, based on constant calculation. Okay, by the estimator or the production planning, the planner side. Okay, and the labor rate of subcontractor. All these things, when you do a project, you sure have one. All this data, then I can guarantee you sure can find one. Again, in the market. So, like for example, temporary, you order some consultant to advise you certain thing happen. For example, there's a incident or accident, people die, then you have to stop work. You call safety consultant to come in to advise you. All these things are component to which the cost that you want to hire. And for example, crane driver, you have to order the crane, you have to pay the driver, etc. Right? All these are costs. So money is everything. Third one is cutting losses site. Okay. Based on usage concern, including handling, breakage, site losses, and everything. Cutting losses. Right? So you must know the material you come in, don't use 100%, maybe use 95%. The 5% is loss. Okay. By and large, it's quite a standard practice. You don't say that, okay, I buy material in, I can use 100%. No. Right? Even in production, in construction, same. Right? So now the question is how to cut down the losses. That's all. By 2%, okay? If 2% is the material you buy is millions of dollars, that will save a lot of money. Okay? Domestic contractor, in construction site, there is always main con, subcon, many types of subcon. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. It's all the same. Right? Project costing sum, everything add on. Okay? Okay, with expenditure, profit, addition, require, all this. Alright. So provisional sum, estimator at the preliminary cost implication. So when you do a project, you will know all these things. Right? Provisional quantity treated as is measured. Okay? That is your past experience, you put in the cost. Or you go outside and do the measurement. Right? Overhead also same. Crane, all these things that I talked to you already. Okay, breakdown is this one, this way. Right? So this one is not in today work lah. Today we don't do that. Alright. So P&L, profit and loss account, we talk about labor, okay, all the labor allocation sheet, clock, the cut, bonus record and which sheet, all these things will be in the P&L account. Alright. And your plant data also, like you rent equipment, etc. Okay, how many hours? Material also, okay, the material type, subcontractor also, right? So you can see that material also, a lot of things, money. That's why the account of financial manager is very busy. Okay, when you do a project, the financial manager have to keep record data, the invoices coming to him, he have to do a debit and credit, everything. Okay. So, like you can see, everything is all in the P&L account. So, by then he finished all this thing. Site staff, office staff, all this. These are all people that you work within the project, right? So what is your income? Disputed claim retention. All this based on contractual obligation, you have to prepare and submit to the government for tax. All right, and tax payment you pay already. Finally, what you have is your net profit, right? Okay. So this one I leave to you. The credit, all these things no need to talk, right? So this is something like a P&L account, but on weekly basis. So nowadays we have computer system. We no need to do this type of Excel sheet. They can do everything for us. Okay, you can buy the system. They will update for you. You key in the data. They will update for you everything. So you can see that in management of project management relating to cost is quite a substantial work to be done. All right, from the beginning, before tender, after you get the tender, you execute the job, okay, and you monitor the job, monitor the time, the cost, okay, and the technical quality assurance, and the people, how many people you want to use for this piece of job. All these things can be structured, developed into a master plan. And a master plan, as I earlier teach you, we have this work breakdown structure, the cost structure, everything. So all lumped together. This is where the cost manager or the accountant will do all the checking and highlight to the project manager. The project manager will manage the cost according to the project so-called progress, right? So that, for example, this month you see that this project you're going to finish 10%. You make sure that the project manager must know that this month 10%. You only finish up to 10%, stop. But you finish early, you can finish more so that you can claim more. You see, but if you, let's say you finish within 1 month only 8%, then you have to find way to upkeep to 10%. That means 2% you have to do extra work, maybe overtime, extra material order, that type of thing. So all these things add into your cost. So the final profit and loss statement will tell you, hey, how come this month my profit and loss, I lost money? Next month, I make money. So there's many way of measuring the cost. In construction site, okay, normally they count by monthly. In manufacturing side, they count by quarterly. Okay, so depend on company directive on their costing method. All right. So these are the things that in the market they are practicing. All right. So it's not easy. Okay. Doing this type, you have to have a cost accounting knowledge and experience. Right. Take note of that. So as a project manager's project management student, you just understand the essence, the several things that you have to consider, right? Okay. So this is where the whole thing come into play, right? Okay. I will show you the okay. This is assignment that you need to do, which I just explained. Can you see? Hello? Hello? Can I? So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will read to you. You are employed as a project manager. Your role is to manage the interior design for a bungalow. Your project director recently have this project. He instructed you to produce cost management program to ensure the project do not exceed the budgetary limit. You are required to list the cost component that, in your opinion, will help the project member manage the cost of construction. Name the list of components and explain how to control them so that the project work output within the budget. Okay, that is 1A. 1B, state at least 2 components that have potential cost overrun on the budget and why. Okay, you can give me all sorts of reason. You estimate, let's say, manpower cost will be high. Why high? Because of that day have many so-called natural disaster, raining continuous. That's why your job cannot finish. Then your cost will be higher, right? Second one, to minimize the manpower cost, suggest way to optimize manpower costing and rationale of the suggestion. The reason why you offer this suggestion. That's all. Okay. This one will entice you for Monday, 3 hours can finish. Can I will send to the school. Then the school will issue to you on the Google Class. Okay? Hello? Hello? Okay. Any more question?
No, no, sir.
So, no, that means the class is over. Okay? Thank you very much. See you, today is when? Friday. See you on Tuesday. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you. Bye-bye.